Warning, this podcast contains spoilers. What's up, everyone, and welcome to the As Seen on TV podcast for Sleepy Hollow. Oops, I broke Cleo's stream. For season 2, episode 9, Mama. I'm your host, Dom, and with me is my co-host Clio, spinning that poor
Mama.
Just killed a man.
Seriously, so for the last 2 weeks, every time I look at any of my like Sleepy Hollow notes and shit, I see the title Mama, and I start singing Bohemian Rhapsody. It's been stuck in my head for 2 weeks.
So might as well just put a gun against my head.
Pull my trigger, now he's dead. Please don't sue me.
Cleo. So, what did you think of this episode?
I really liked this episode, like a lot.
This was a really, really good episode. We got some good information too, and we'll go into that. But this kind of, I don't want to say it was a filler episode.
It kind of was.
But it kind of was.
It had some stuff central to the plot that's going to move them forward in the future, but
right. And a lot of deep-rooted stuff that we didn't even realize.
Yeah. But it was a step removed from the plot, and it's one of those where you're like, it's over, and you're like, oh, that was amazing, but it actually was filler. Yeah. Didn't realize till it was over.
Right. It was still really good. But, so it starts off with Abby having a dream of her mother, and she kind of writes it off as a dream, but it turns out to be a premonition, except it didn't exactly happen the way she envisioned it. So, what does that mean in regards to Ichabod's premonition about Katrina and the Horseman?
It could mean that parts of it are true. It could mean that... I mean, because Ichabod's dream premonition, because we now know there's no such thing as a dream in this world. Mm-hmm. Especially with our main characters. For all premonitions. So... Ichabod's dream of Katrina going through the beheading, it might just be that Katrina's trapped. It might not be that they're actually going to cut her head off.
Right.
It might just be that she's trapped with the Horsemen. Both of them, and Moloch. So.
Yeah. No, it definitely could be. The whole... that's the story of Abby's mother and everything was super interesting. Like, I love seeing the backstory.
Their mother was pretty badass. Yeah,
like how she was supposedly crazy beforehand. Mm-hmm. And they, it was the demon. It was Moloch, basically. Mm-hmm. They didn't directly say it was him, did they? It was influencing her?
Not in this episode, because what we were focused on in this episode was really towards the end. So Lambert was the ghost demon, whatever, that lured her to commit suicide. But right. Because there was a different one in the car with Lori and Jenny. Because she looked in the back seat, and it was, like, some other demon, right? It wasn't Moloch, it wasn't Lambert, it was something else, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So it could just be another Moloch servant, or just another demon, or whatever. Because I'm sure Moloch's not the only evil thing to try to get their hands on a witness.
Right. And, I mean, she seems... Was she aware that her children were... witnesses at the time, or is this something what she learned after she died?
As a ghost, she told Abby that she knew that Abby was a witness, because Jenny's not a witness.
Right. Well,
that doesn't make her any less important.
Wasn't she there for the whole thing though? I thought her and Jenny originally were in the woods and saw Moloch.
Yes.
And so
yes.
she's still not a witness?
No, because there are two witnesses. Ichabod and Abby.
Or are they throwing us off and Abby and Jenny are actually the two witnesses?
I would fucking love that. But there's so much connection with Ichabod.
Right, but that's not to say, because, all right, so we learned in this episode that Jenny and Abby, their heritage goes back to Ichabod, and they're... Huh?
We knew that already.
Did we?
The episode with all of the flashbacks to Frederick's Manor, when we saw Katrina giving birth, or maybe it was the one before we saw Katrina give birth, but they had said that the matron, she basically ran the house with Frederick, was Abby and Jenny's ancestor. So we already knew that.
See, we
didn't know that their mother knew anything about it.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on that. I don't know what it was. I caught it, obviously, this episode when they showed the flashback little scene when she was reading the journal.
It was that episode where, I think someone went back to Frederick's Manor and got killed. Like, the house killed her. Or no, killed her.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one. The vines and stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
I still don't remember it. I don't remember it being revealed in that episode.
Mm-hmm.
But, so, I don't know. Maybe I realized it and didn't. I don't know, a lot. We watch a lot of shows, so I lose information along the way. But, so, even if that was the case, which I'm not saying I don't believe you, but I didn't catch it there. So, this episode was a good reminder then for the people like me who completely blanked out on that.
Or if you missed that episode.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I knew it. It was in the back of my head, but when they said it again, I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I knew that.
How funny was it seeing Crane sick in this episode?
It was adorable. I fought the battle of blah 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 with dysentery. I'm like, oh god, Crane. That's not a story anyone wants to hear. No.
Diarrhea forever.
It was really cute though. He's like, I can do this. It's like, no, you precious thing, please sit down.
Yeah, but did you feel like the episode was lacking without him in it? Or do you think that they did good justice?
Yeah, I think that how they sort of bring him in at the end, it's, oh yeah, he's totally better, don't worry about it, was a little weird. But I think him being in this episode, they would have been tripping over each other's feet.
Yeah,
would have been.
I feel like he would have been
too many hands on deck. And this was a very modern piece of the story. There was no, like, way back when tie-in or any...
I mean, the journal...
knowledge that Crane needed to
I could see the journal, him tying in somewhere there if they were to have used him. But yeah. You're right, outside of that, I mean, he would have been...
But Jenny was able to say that, what language was that? Creole? Or was that...
I don't even know.
I don't know. But she was able to read those words really well, so...
Yeah, she was. They probably could have fit him in there. If Holly wasn't in the episode, though, I think Crane would have fit in just fine.
Yeah. Well, with that, I think they're definitely not only strengthening the sisters' bond, but Holly's bond with both of the Mills, really.
Right. Yeah. No, that was definitely the point of Holly, and it's very, very interesting the way they did that. I enjoyed it.
Oh, and Crane got jealous.
He did.
He's like, you called him. I'm perfectly fine. He's like, no, you're not. Here, take this delicious soup.
Matzo ball soup.
Matzo ball soup.
I could go for some of that right now.
Yeah.
It looked really good. He's like, I don't want any... Ooh, what is this delicious thing? It's funny. But then Reyes gave Abby and basically her crew full reign of the investigation at Tarrytown. Yeah. Do you think this trust is going to remain, or you think it's going to waver?
I mean, I really hope so, because we're going to get deeper into this war since Moloch is growing up super fast. So with more supernatural stuff flying around, Sleepy Hollow, it's going to be harder for Reyes to just write it off as a cult thing.
Yeah, I mean, do you think it was a one-off thing? Because it was very closely tied to Abby's mother and Abby's sister, and
Maybe.
She definitely seemed like she was giving her special treatment on this particular case because of those reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Reyes probably feels a little guilt for having committed the mother in the first place, so I'm not sure if this is an outstanding situation or if this is something that we could expect to see more of in the future.
I don't know, maybe. I was just very shocked that, like, she was like, yeah, you don't have to take even any other officers, you're fine. It's like Abby hasn't been bound by a partner. Like, she doesn't have a partner. She's just, like, doing her thing. I don't know how she's gotten away with it this long.
Yeah, I have absolutely no clue. But we mentioned there was a lot of the Mills family backstory on this episode, and especially more so with the sisters. How do you feel the journal is going to prepare them for the future, though?
I didn't write this in the notes because I knew you were going to get mad at me, but I really want to mention Supernatural.
Go, like, if it's non-spoilery, go for it.
No, it's not. It's just the scene at the end with the mother's like, use the journal, and I was like, Winchesters. With the journal and the dad, and
it's got a very Winchester feel to it. I felt that too.
And like, that's a parallel I never would have made if Crane wasn't absent,
Right.
Since he was gone, the focus was on the sisters, and then the journal came into play, and the mom was doing all this supernatural stuff this whole time, and it's like, oh my God, Winchesters.
So what did they do now? They followed their mother's journal, saving people, hunting things. The family business. Yeah.
I just got a very strong Winchester vibe from the end of that, and I was like, yes!
No, I definitely feel that.
I said that to my mom. I'm like, they're like the Winchesters, and she's like, yeah, minus a couple of feet.
I mean, I hate to bring this up, but it's no secret. Yeah. I hate to bring this up, but it's no secret that this season, in particular, has had a huge rating slip.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if the show does get renewed for season 3, it's not going to be a surprise, but it's kind of a 50-50 toss-up, I think, right now.
That's so sad.
Yeah, it is. I feel like Fox may give it one more season to see if they could pick things up and do like a... Because the first season had huge success, and then it started slipping off as the winter break picked up and things like that, and it was because they spaced out the episodes a lot, and we saw how that worked for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Last season. It didn't do too well, but they continued on. So that's not to say that the show won't continue on. With 22 episodes, or 20 episodes this season.
The first season of Sleepy Hollow was not the winter break. It was that they had a hiatus before the last 2 episodes of the first half of the season.
Yeah.
So I had missed those 2 episodes. They went on break, and when they came back, I'm like, I'm behind. I don't have time to catch up.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Anyway, last year.
So I'm hoping the show gets renewed again, but if not, the reason why I brought this up was, since the Winchester parallel, if you have not already started Supernatural, you have 10 seasons worth of content to make up for this supernatural void that Sleepy Hollow may leave behind. So maybe something you guys should look into.
Listen, Fox is on my shit list for so many reasons. I think this is one of the best written shows on TV. It's definitely got one of the most diverse casts. It's not like, and it doesn't make a big deal about it, which is
right.
It's good. Like some shows with minorities, it will make a big deal, be like, oh, hey, look, we got minorities. Come look at this.
Yeah.
They don't make a big deal about it. Yep. You don't make a big deal about a female lead, It's just, that's what it is.
Right. So getting back to the episode,
sorry.
we kind of went off on a little tangent there, but it felt it was appropriate. What did you think of Nurse Lambert?
Oh, she was crazy.
She was like this angel of mercy. She wasn't
Yeah.
related to Moloch in any way, shape, or form. She's kind of a nice break to the whole story, and
Yeah.
I really liked her. The whole like she was in this place. She acted as like the angel of death. She was going from place to place until she was finally caught here in Terrytown. So it made sense why she was still there.
Yeah. And I think this is a good example of like a spirit or a demon or whatever she really was. Was she like a spirit, like a ghost? Or she sort of had a physical presence there?
She had
She
both.
could touch the-
She had both. She was definitely a ghost because the journal swooped her and the Abby and Jenny's mother away. So both of them being corporeal.
Yeah.
They were able to get sucked away through this magic journal.
Yeah, but it definitely showed like how a spirit can get twisted in the afterlife if it's like, because she was definitely the person in life who was like, I think I'm doing good, I believe I'm doing good for these people, I'm helping them pass on, but then in the afterlife it's sort of like, you look how at rest your mother is. It's like, no, she's really not. Can you see anymore? That doesn't look right.
Yeah.
She's just twisted.
Yeah, she's extremely twisted. I felt bad that Abby and Jenny's mother got sucked away with that. I don't think that was an intended side effect that they were expecting. And Abby was even like, I wish I could say something to her. So I'm curious to see where they went exactly, where this pulled them to.
Well, it seemed like their mother was saying that she couldn't leave the hospital, so she'd still be there, just not able to appear to anyone or anything like that anymore.
Right. So there might be a way to draw her back. Katrina would probably know.
Well, I mean, they drew her back for a little bit just to say goodbye.
Yeah.
The whole Winchester moment. Take my journal.
Family business. But speaking of Katrina, oh my god, that end scene.
Holy shit.
She concocts this potion to
I was very nervous, like, because the baby had his claws in her, and I was like, is she not gonna realize it's a demon baby sucking her life? Is it gonna kill her? But then she's like, oh fuck, she makes a potion, but it's
right. It's a little too late now.
It might be, it might not be. Maybe she's got another potion. But he's like, that kid had to be like 7.
Yeah, 7 to 10, somewhere around there.
Yeah, just like poof.
He grew quickly.
Well, I guess he sucked enough energy out of Katrina that.
I mean, you could even see, like, look at her neck, and like you could see she's like losing life force almost.
Yes,
like
it almost looks petrified.
Yeah, I was gonna say almost like she's rotting. It's just, it was very discolored and it's kind of eerie looking. So I wonder how much life force baby Malak is gonna suck out of her, and if that's really what makes him grow.
Yeah. And will he have to keep getting that close to her to suck her life juice? Or
life juice. That sounds awful.
I know, I'm sorry. I realized as I said it.
Don't no.
Yeah, because he had to be like right up and go like in her shoulder.
Yeah, and then he just looks at her standing on the stool. He's like, I'm hungry, mama.
Oh, hell no.
I was like, oh, wait. So this episode was a double entendre. It was Mama. Abby and Jenny's mother, but it's baby Moloch's mother.
Yeah, because it was definitely, the focus was on Abby and Jenny's mom, especially since they called her Mama.
Right.
But you're right. Two mamas.
I said, as I always am.
I'm fighting. I refuse to see Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah. You have anything else you want to touch on for this episode?
I really loved it so much.
I want some matzo soup now.
No. It's just such a good episode. And just really seeing the young dynamic between Jenny and Abby, how they faced it all together. They held hands and everything.
Right. And even the dynamic that they had with Holly. Like,
yeah, even that.
You know.
God, I love Holly. I'm dreading the inevitable emotional fallout when, you know.
Don't do it. Don't even say it. Don't even say it.
I won't.
But it was refreshing to see that they could get through an episode with minimal Crane. So, not that I dislike him, but I don't like when one character becomes too important that you can't do the show without them.
Yeah.
So,
and I was actually going to bring that up now that I assume Abby's going to be holding on to the journal. And the journal's going to have a lot of information.
is she? Or is Jenny going to be holding on to it? Because
That's a good
Jenny's the only
question.
one that can pronounce it. Translate it even.
But it's not all of it's in the language. That was just that one chant.
Yeah, that's true.
But for investigation purposes, I figured Abby they might join custody. I don't know. We'll see. But, or Ichabod's like, oh yeah, I remember that from 200 years ago. Abby will be like, oh, I read that yesterday. You got this. So,
yep.
Abby's gonna take a bit of that, oh, I remember that.
Yeah, pretty much. Next episode is called Magnum Opus. Abby and Ichabod are on a quest to find a weapon of ultimate power to kill Moloch, the sword of Methuselah. Probably butchered that.
No, that sounds right.
Methuselah. Before the Headless Horseman can stop them. So, looks like Headless Horseman is coming back. That's interesting. We haven't seen him as a immediate threat in a while.
And the little clip they showed, you know, as a trailer for the next episode, really had my feels going because I'm like, oh, I just really started to connect with Abraham, and now we gotta fight him.
Yeah.
Oh, I really just want Ichabod and Abraham to be bros. And I mean what I was saying about Lambert, how she sort of got twisted in the afterlife. That's definitely something that's happened to both Abraham and Henry. That being brought back by Moloch, being the horseman, a lot of their humanity, or their depths of their personality got stripped away, and what's left is like the hatred and like the need for revenge. And I'm just sad. I want them to get a little bit of their humanity back.
Yeah.
So I like them both so much.
I mean, we have a lot of episodes. This isn't like last season where we only had the 13 episodes.
Yeah.
Right? We have 20 episodes this time around, so we have a little more room for some redemption, so to speak. I think it's coming. I don't think we're at least one of them. We're gonna get redemption, I think, by the end of the season.
Mhm.
So, I think that about does it. Clio, where can people find you?
You can find me at Clio Moto.
Ooh. You can find me down below at Phenomenon, PHENOMEDOM.
Go on. Live in constant fear.
You can also find us.
Phenomenon.
See, I waited. You can also find us on Facebook, Gmail, G+, Twitter, and right here on YouTube/ASOTV podcast for some more podcasts for some of your favorite TV shows. Till next week.
Bye-bye.
See you guys later. Saving people, hunting things, the family business.
Just like Rick Grimes would have wanted.